Your life does not get better when problems disappear. It gets better when you become better at solving them. Think about that. Every person has problems. Rich people have problems. Poor people have problems. Successful people have problems. Unsuccessful people have problems. The difference is not the absence of problems. The difference is the ability to handle them. Some people panic when difficulty appears. Others grow stronger because of it. Some people complain. Some people blame. Some people quit. But successful people, they learn to think. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more wisdom. Because life is a series of challenges, one after another. And every challenge asks the same question. Will this break you or build you? Now, listen carefully. Most people try to avoid problems. But avoiding problems also avoids growth. Because problems are not punishments. They are opportunities. An opportunity to become wiser, stronger, more disciplined, more patient. Every solved problem increases your value. That is why the people who solve big problems often build big lives. But many people never develop this skill. Why? Because emotions control their thinking. The moment difficulty appears, they react emotionally. They panic, overthink, complain, blame others. And emotional reactions create weak decisions. Maturity is learning to respond instead of react. That is the key. Problem solving begins with calm thinking, not fear, not panic, not excuses. Because every problem contains something valuable, a lesson, a warning, a chance to improve. But only if you are willing to face it honestly. Now, let me ask you something. What if your biggest struggle was actually preparing you for your greatest growth? What if the challenge you want to escape is the very thing meant to strengthen your character? That changes perspective. Because suddenly, problems are no longer enemies. They become teachers. And the more you learn from them, the stronger your life becomes. So in this message, we're going to talk deeply about thinking clearly, staying calm under pressure, finding solutions instead of excuses, and most importantly, how to develop the mindset of a true problem solver. Because the truth is simple. The quality of your life depends on the quality of the problems you learn to solve. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. That is one of the greatest lessons in life. Because many people spend their lives trying to avoid problems. They want life to be easy, smooth, comfortable. But life was never designed that way. Problems are part of life. Challenges are part of growth. Difficulty is part of becoming stronger. And the sooner you accept that, the stronger your mindset becomes. Now listen carefully. Having problems does not mean your life is falling apart. It means you are alive. Every person faces struggles. The poor have problems. The rich have problems. The weak have problems. The strong have problems. The difference is not who has problems. The difference is who learns to handle them wisely. Success is not the absence of problems. It is the ability to deal with them. Think about that. Most people panic when difficulty appears. They complain, blame others, feel sorry for themselves, and sometimes they run away completely. But running from problems creates bigger problems. Ignoring financial problems creates debt. Ignoring health problems creates illness. Ignoring relationship problems creates distance. Avoidance never solves anything. In fact, the problems you avoid today often become the struggles you suffer tomorrow. That is why courage matters. Because growth begins the moment you stop running, the moment you face life honestly. Now here is something important. Problems are not always punishments. Sometimes they are preparation. Preparation for wisdom. Preparation for strength. Preparation for leadership. The challenges of life are designed to make you better, not bitter. Every difficulty carries a lesson. A lesson about patience. A lesson about discipline. A lesson about yourself. But many people miss the lesson because they focus only on the pain. Now, let me ask you something. What if the struggle you are facing right now is developing the strength you will need tomorrow? That changes perspective, because suddenly the problem is no longer your enemy. It becomes your teacher, and every teacher has something valuable to show you. Now understand this deeply. Strong people are not people with easy lives. Strong people are people who learned how to survive hard moments. They learned how to stay calm, how to think clearly, how to continue moving forward, even under pressure. That strength does not appear overnight. It is built through challenges. Don't ask for an easy life. Ask to be stronger. That is the mindset of growth. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because your questions shape your mindset. Weak questions create weakness. Strong questions create growth. Now listen carefully. Every solved problem increases your confidence. The more challenges you overcome, the more capable you become. And slowly, you stop fearing problems because you realize something powerful. You are stronger than you thought, wiser than you thought, more resilient than you thought. That realization changes everything. Now let me leave you with this. Life will always have challenges. There will always be pressure, obstacles, unexpected difficulties. But you cannot spend your life running. Face the challenge. Learn the lesson. Grow through the struggle. Because the people who become successful are not the people without problems. They are the people who became stronger because of them. Problems are part of life. Stop running from them and start growing through them. Maturity is learning to respond instead of react. When problems appear, most people panic. They react emotionally. They get angry, frustrated, fearful, and emotional reactions often create bigger problems because a stressed mind cannot think clearly. When emotions take control, logic disappears, patience disappears, wisdom disappears, and suddenly, small problems become giant disasters. Now listen carefully. The problem is not always the situation. Sometimes, the real problem is your reaction to it. Don't let your emotions make decisions your mind will regret. That is powerful advice. Think about how many bad decisions happen in emotional moments. People say things they don't mean, quit too early, give up too fast. Not because the situation was impossible, but because they lost control of themselves. That is why calmness is strength. The ability to stay calm under pressure is one of the greatest skills you can develop, because calm people think better. They see solutions more clearly. They make wiser decisions. While everyone else is panicking, they stay steady. And steady people solve problems. Now let me ask you something. When difficulty enters your life, do you react emotionally or do you pause and think? That pause matters because sometimes one calm moment can prevent years of regret. Take time to think. Clarity comes from quiet reflection. Successful people understand this. They do not rush every decision. They slow down, observe carefully, think clearly, because emotional thinking creates weak judgment. Fear says, quit. Anger says, react. Stress says, panic. But wisdom says, stay calm. That is the voice you must strengthen. Now, understand this deeply. A calm mind does not mean you ignore problems. It means you face them with control. You breathe, think, analyze, and then act wisely. That is maturity. That is discipline. That is leadership. And the more control you develop over your emotions, the more control you gain over your life, because life will always test you. Pressure will come. Unexpected problems will appear. But your strength will be measured by how you respond. Anyone can stay positive when life is easy, but true character appears during difficult moments. So the next time problems arise, do not panic. Do not react emotionally. Pause. Stay calm. Think clearly, because often the person who remains calm becomes the person who finds the solution. Successful people look for solutions. Unsuccessful people look for excuses. That is one of the biggest differences in life. When problems appear, most people immediately search for someone to blame. They blame circumstances, blame other people, blame bad luck. And while they complain, nothing changes. Because excuses never improve your life. Excuses may protect your ego temporarily, but they destroy your future permanently. Now listen carefully. Every person has reasons why things are difficult. Everyone faces obstacles. But successful people ask a different question. Not, why is this happening to me? But, what can I do about it? That question changes everything. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And direction changes the moment you focus on solutions, because complaining keeps you stuck. Solutions move you forward. Now let me ask you something. How much time are people wasting talking about problems instead of solving them? Hours of complaining, days of negativity, years of excuses. And meanwhile, life keeps moving. That is why responsibility matters. The moment you take responsibility for your life, your power returns. Not because everything becomes easy, but because you stop waiting for rescue. You stop saying, someone should help me, and start saying, I must improve myself. That mindset creates strength. For things to change, you have to change. That is the truth. You cannot control every situation, but you can control your response, your attitude, your effort, your thinking. And that is where real power begins. Now, understand this deeply. Solution-focused people are valuable in business, in relationships, in leadership. Because while others panic, they think clearly. While others complain, they take action. That is rare. And rare people become successful. Now, here is something important. Focusing on solutions does not mean pretending problems don't exist. It means refusing to stay trapped in negativity. Yes, the problem is real. But the question is, what will you do next? That is where growth happens. Don't spend major time on minor things. Complaining is a minor thing. Action is the major thing. So train your mind differently. Instead of saying, this is impossible, ask, how can I improve this? Instead of saying, my life is unfair, ask, what can I learn from this? Because better questions create better answers, and better answers create better lives. Excuses may feel comfortable, but comfort rarely creates success. Success belongs to people who take responsibility, who stay focused, who search for answers instead of blame. So stop feeding excuses. Start building solutions. Because the moment you focus on what can be done, your entire life begins to move forward. Experience is not the best teacher. Evaluated experience is. Think about that carefully. Many people go through hard times, but never grow from them. Why? Because they experience pain without learning the lesson. And when you refuse to learn, life often repeats the same challenge, the same mistakes, the same struggles, the same frustrations, until you finally stop and pay attention. Now, listen carefully. Every problem carries a message. A financial problem may teach discipline. A relationship problem may teach communication. A failure may teach preparation. But if all you do is complain about the pain, you miss the wisdom hidden inside it. Don't ask why this happened. Ask what this can teach you. That question changes everything. Because suddenly, the struggle is no longer meaningless. It becomes valuable. Now let me ask you something. What if your hardest moments were actually shaping your future strength? What if the failure you regret was preparing you for better decisions later? Because often, the lessons that change your life come through difficulty, not comfort. Comfort rarely teaches discipline. Comfort rarely teaches patience. Comfort rarely teaches resilience. Struggle does. That is why strong people are usually people who have survived difficult seasons. They learned from disappointment, learned from mistakes, learned from failure, and instead of becoming bitter, they became wiser. The challenges of life are designed to introduce you to yourself. That is powerful. Problems reveal character. Pressure reveals patience. Failure reveals mindset. Difficulty reveals emotional strength. And sometimes, you don't truly know yourself until life tests you. Now, understand this deeply. Mistakes are not the end. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone experiences setbacks. The danger is not failing. The danger is failing without learning. Because failure without reflection becomes repeated failure. That is why successful people evaluate their experiences. They ask, what went wrong? What can I improve? What lesson should I carry forward? And through those questions, wisdom begins to grow. Poor thinking habits create poor results. That means growth begins when your thinking improves, not when life becomes easier. Now, listen carefully. Your struggles can either break you or educate you. The choice often depends on perspective. Weak people ask, why is life against me? Strong people ask, how can this make me stronger? That mindset changes everything. Because when you start learning from problems, you stop fearing them. You realize every challenge increases your experience. Every setback sharpens your judgment. Every difficult season builds emotional strength. And slowly, you become more prepared for life. Not because life became easier, but because you became wiser. Now, here is something important. Do not waste your pain. If you suffered, learn something from it. If you failed, gain wisdom from it. If you struggled, use it to grow stronger. Because pain without growth is wasted suffering. But pain with wisdom can transform your life. Every problem has two sides. One side is discomfort. The other side is growth. Most people only see the pain. Wise people search for the lesson. So the next time life challenges you, do not immediately complain. Pause. Reflect. Learn, because hidden inside every struggle is a lesson powerful enough to change the person you become. For things to change, you have to change. That is where true problem solving begins. Not by changing the world, but by changing yourself. Because life will always have challenges, unexpected setbacks, pressure, disappointments. You cannot avoid all problems, but you can become stronger than them. And that is the goal, to become the kind of person who stays calm during chaos, who thinks clearly under pressure, who responds with wisdom instead of emotion. Don't wish for an easy life. Wish to be stronger. That mindset changes everything. Weak people break under pressure. Strong people grow through pressure. Why? Because strength is developed, not given. Every difficult moment is training. Training your patience, training your discipline, training your emotional control. And slowly, you begin becoming more mature, more stable, more focused. Now listen carefully. Strength is not about pretending nothing affects you. Real strength means you feel pressure, but you still think wisely. You feel fear, but you still move forward. That is courage. And wisdom comes the same way. Wisdom is not learned only from books. It is learned through experience, through mistakes, through challenges, through reflection. Maturity is learning to respond instead of react. That is wisdom in action. Most people react emotionally. They panic, complain, blame others. But wise people pause. They observe. They think before acting because they understand something important. A problem handled poorly creates more problems. Now let me ask you something. Who are you becoming during difficult times? Are problems making you bitter or making you better? Because challenges reveal character. They reveal patience, discipline, mental strength. And the more you handle problems wisely, the more confidence you build. You stop fearing challenges because you trust your ability to face them. That confidence is powerful. Not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that says, no matter what happens, I will figure it out. That mindset creates resilience. And resilient people become leaders. Because when everyone else is overwhelmed, they stay steady. When everyone else loses hope, they stay focused. That is rare. And rare qualities create extraordinary lives. Now understand this deeply. The goal is not a life without problems. The goal is becoming a person capable of handling them. Because the stronger your mindset becomes, the smaller your problems begin to feel. Let me leave you with this. Every challenge you face is shaping the person you are becoming. So do not waste the struggle. Use it to become wiser. Use it to become stronger. Use it to become more disciplined. Because in the end, your success will not be determined by how many problems you had, but by who you became while solving them.